What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Still a nation. Let me just check my audio levels. Give me a second. Make sure everything is where it needs to be. It is. There we are. There we are. What's happening, good people, man? Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live here and presented to you guys by the Still Basement. And let me just dive right in. I'm going to say hello to a few of you guys and gals. Listen, man, Tuesdays are crazy for me now. This is another night that it's at 9 p.m. instead of 8 p.m. I appreciate all of you guys rocking with me. I told you guys, man, my 10-year-old made an AAU team. His practice is from 7 to 8:30 on Tuesdays. My wife, again, is out of town tonight due to work. She'll be back tomorrow, but so when that happens, I'm going to have to do the show at 9 o'clock, okay? So that may or may not happen again throughout this process. You know, the AAU team is running through June. We'll see, but on a lot of Tuesdays, my wife said that she'll just take him to practice and I can do my thing here at 8 o'clock. But sorry about that, guys, but hey, that's the price of being a father, right? Like I said, I appreciate y'all rocking with me, but I got to get to it. Let's get right to it, man, because you guys know Wednesday is another one of my commute nights, so I cannot be on all night, but I got a lot to talk about. And Still Table, let's advertise that. The Still Table discussion will be next week instead of tonight. So sit tight and we'll get to that. But let's just say hello to some of the early commenters, man. Aaron Morris, Brent Fox, Rumble Stillskin, Few Late Nights, Cutboy 412, Cody, Daredevil, Crazy Ron Gaming, Why Diggy in the building, Mark Cunningham, what's up, guys? Luis D, Carolina Larry 24, Kev So Nice, Jersey Boy, Dietrich Bundig, Ozzy Tanks, Brian Williams, hello, Lanisha. The lovely Lanisha in the building, guys. Make sure y'all say hello to our lady listeners. Lanisha is one of the leading ladies. Hello, Lanisha. How you doing tonight, Miss Lady? Joshua Shields. Who else? CT Pittman. Lyle McCombs. What's up, Lyle? Ain't seen you in a while, man. Good to see you. Antoine. See Antoine Hill in the building. Who else? The infamous Tim. Jack Bauer. And we'll end it right about there because I have a lot to get into and not with so much time. Sade, hello, another lovely lady listener. Hello, Sade. How you doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. Looks like another lovely lady of Still a Nation, Elisa Shepard. Hello, Elisa. Fellas, again, do your thing. Lay out the red carpet. Say hello to our lovely ladies. All right, man. Where did I begin? I had a plan on how I wanted to break all of this down, but again, since so much has gone on for me today, man, I'm just going to let it roll. Y'all know I like to freestyle everything. I don't write anything down for the most part. Where did it all begin, man? What a week in Still a Nation. I mean, hold on. Before we get started, we got a donation. Thank you. Jameer Sanders, round of applause. Appreciate the donation. Jameer says, so glad you was wrong about Kenny 2 more years. Not. We gonna get there. So listen, man, what a week. I don't know if I have everything in order, but I'm going to try to spit them all out, and then I'm just going to give my full thoughts about everything, and then I'm going to open up the phone calls, man, and then we'll be up out of here. Looks like a whole lot of light here tonight, man. Hold on, guys. Looking mighty bright. There we go. Let me lighten. There we go. That looks good. Steelers signed Cameron Johnston. We knew about that, the punter. Right? That was the light news that we heard about. Next, here comes Russell Wilson. I think I got this stuff in order. Or was it Patrick Queen? I don't remember which one was first, but we get the punter. Then there's Russell Wilson. Then there's Mr. Queen. Then Deontay Johnson gets traded. Holy moly. right? And we get Deontay Jackson off of that. So player for player, pick swap, et cetera, okay? Then the huge news comes. Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett gets traded to the Eagles, to the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Steelers also do a pick swap where they acquire pick number 98, I believe. So that gives us two, I want to say, is it a third round pick? I think that's 2 third-round picks that the Steelers now have. And Kenny Pickett is shipped off to the Philadelphia Eagles. And what happens after that? Something that I never thought would happen in a million years, and I'm going to explain to you why. Justin Fields. The Steelers trade for Justin Fields, or shall I say the Bears trade Justin Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers, because rumors have come out, or the reports have come out now saying that Justin Fields wanted to go to Pittsburgh, and Ryan Poles, I think that's the name of the GM over there in Chicago, and they wanted to do right by him, and they came to some agreement, and it wasn't quote unquote all about compensation. It was more so taking care of Justin, looking out for their guy. Okay, cool. If he was that much of your guy, he'd still be there, right? But yeah, that's just a side note. And he gets traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers on a conditional pick. Conditional. It's a 6th-round pick with the condition of being a 4th-round pick in 2025. And that's why you guys saw me do the independent video, and I said that the Steelers traded for Justin Fields for peanuts. And shout outs to all of y'all, man. I got great viewership on that video, so thank all of you and more who watched that. Excellent viewership on a video like that. Pre-recorded Steelers video normally doesn't get that type of viewership. Yeah, and a big topic, and you guys ran it up on the like button. I mean, I think at this point is well over 300 likes. Thank y'all for that, because it definitely helps. But yeah, at that point I said it was for peanuts, and technically it still is, because it's next year. It could be as low as a 6th-round pick. So let me put all of this in perspective, and let's see how I want to attack all of this. And this is why I say this is a week to remember. I have never seen a free agency quite like this, an offseason quite like this from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let me just make sure. Hold on, guys. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't know if I said it in order. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to just go to the Steelers transactions. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I've never seen anything like this in Pittsburgh Steelers history. Ever. Never. Let's see. Oh yeah, I forgot about Deshaun Elliott. They went out and got them a strong safety as well. So, like I said, and this is kind of the order sequence of events, if you want to say that, they released number 31, failed physical. Shout outs to Keon O'Neal. I'll give you your name back. You're no longer with Pittsburgh. They signed Brandon Fehoko, and are they going to use him this year? But anyway, that's kind of what kicked everything off. They released Patrick Peterson. We all know that. And Allen Robinson. And then, just like I kind of just mentioned to you guys, but I didn't do it in the right order. But basically, here goes. The Steelers, and the transactions are going to show when things were official, but they acquired Deontay Jackson in exchange for Deontay Johnson and the draft pick swap there. They signed Russell Wilson. They signed Patrick Queen. They signed Deshaun Elliott. They then trade Kenny Pickett for a 2024 third-round pick, number 98 overall, like I said, and a pair of 2025 7th-round picks in a trade with the Philadelphia Eagles. And, 7th round ain't going to hurt you too much in 2025, right? They get Kenny Pickett, and they get 2024 4th-round pick 120 overall. The Steelers then acquire Justin Fields. Steelers also signed Cameron Johnson. Johnston, who's the punter. They also signed Van Jefferson. I forgot about that one. Miles Killebrew gets re-signed. Okay, some little low-level stuff. And then I've heard that the Steelers have already reworked Deontay Jackson's. Hold on. Time out. We have a donation. Thank you very much. Kev's so nice. Round of applause. I appreciate it. Kev So Nice says, when the Steelers trade Kenny Pickett, they told you how they feel, and people act like DJ is gone. People think we can't get a wide receiver talent. I'm interested in what they do, and and he says, I'm interested in what they do and what Omar Khan. They says I'm reading this the way he wrote it, but it's kind of choppy. So I think what he's trying to say is, I'm interested to see what they do in the draft, and Omar Khan is unpredictable. Absolutely right. He is by far unpredictable. And again, this is why I said I have never in my time watching the Pittsburgh Steelers, I've never seen a free agency or off-season week quite like this one. And that's why I said it is a week to remember. The reason why we need to remember it is because this is the new Steeler way. Okay? They have set a new precedent. They have set a new standard in terms of what they will do. I think the standard is still the same in terms of what the Steelers are, right? And what they believe in, core values. But in terms of how they do business and acquiring talent and not being afraid to go out and take some chances on veteran players, that has changed by far. First of all, if I'm not mistaken, I think they said that Patrick Queen was the most expensive free agent signing that the Steelers have ever done. 3-year, $41 million. But again, if you look at how they've structured these deals, they're friendly, team friendly. The Deontay Jackson thing, his hit is only going to be about $6 million as opposed to Deontay Johnson's $10 million. So the real cap hit, they basically saved $4 million. It's crazy. It's crazy what they have been able to do. And Omar Khan, man, the Khan man, have mercy. Round of applause. Luis D, we have another donation, man. Y'all being charitable right early, ain't you? Thank y'all for the donations. Thank you, Luis. I like what Luis is saying here. He says, the Deshaun Elliott, that signing to me is a better signing than people think. His style of play allows Minka to roam more freely against the pass than playing inside box against the run. Expect defense to be even better. I hope so. I definitely hope that you're correct, Luis. I hope that Mike Tomlin, Terrell Austin, I hope you guys also believing in that philosophy, and the reason why you bring in a guy like Deshaun Elliott, who's known to be more of a hitter, a thumper type, and allow Minka to stay in the middle of the field, please. Y'all know my beef with that. How they had decided to blitz Minka often or have him playing in the box. I'm not saying you can't switch it up from time to time, because Minka is an outstanding athlete, and you want to put these athletes in positions to win. But also, when guys are throwing the ball down the middle of the field against you, and guys are trying to hit post routes against you, it would be nice to have the best post safety on our team back there to contend or contest these throws or to take the middle of the field away. Wouldn't it be advantageous to do that? Again, I'm not claiming to know more football than Mike Tomlin or Terrell Austin. I'm just saying, if I didn't know better, if the middle of the field is where we're getting eaten up, it would behoove us to allow that guy with ball skills to play as the deep safety, the center fielder, the post safety. Remember, I will never forget, early in Minka Steelers' career, I was at that Colts game when he housed that thing 96 yards, playing in the middle of the field down in the red zone. I was there. Lost my voice. Me and big brother cousin Floyd was there together. So therefore, that is even more reason why I need to see him in the middle of the field. Deshaun Elliott should allow that. So back to what I was saying, man. I'm all over the place tonight, but I want to kind of put this together before I get to the phone calls. There's a couple questions I have, guys. Number one, do we believe the reports coming out of the locker room per se? You know, guys like Jerry Dulac, reporting the reasons why some of these guys got traded. Let's start with Deontay Johnson first. They said that Deontay Johnson was traded because of his attitude, his lack of leadership, and that he requested to be traded, right? So I know a lot of people ran with the speculation, you know, and that video surfaced back on, you know, social media showing that Deontay Johnson virtually quit on that play when there was a fumble. You guys remember that? And Connor Haywood had to make the tackle. They're showing the lack of effort by Deontay Johnson, but there were other moments last season where it seemed like he wasn't being the biggest leader. But that video started resurfacing. But what's important is reports are saying not only just that, is that he requested a trade. And Tomlin's famous phrase resurfaced as well. We want volunteers, not hostages. Believable. It's believable to me that Deontay Johnson may have asked for that. Would he have still asked that before the trading of Kenny Pickett? Who knows? People are speculating, saying, oh, he would have stayed had he known. Who knows? There's no way for us to prove that, so I'm not going to go down that road. But he asked for the trade. He gets traded to the Carolina Panthers. Good luck with that, Deontay Johnson. No disrespect to the Panthers and no disrespect to a guy like Bryce Young, but I think it's going to be one of these uphill battles down in Carolina. They got a lot to fill. And again, Bryce Young ain't the biggest guy in the world. You know, I just think he can't take a punishment like some other quarterbacks are able to do. You know, I like Bryce Young coming out of college, you know, when he was at the helm at Alabama, but I'm just saying, it's good. Uphill battle for them Carolina Panthers, man. So good luck, Deontay. Now let's bring it forward to Kenny Pickett. Reports are saying that Kenny Pickett also requested a trade after bringing in Russell Wilson. Reports are he didn't take kindly to that news. And you know one thing about Russell Wilson, if you watched his presser and they asked him about him and Kenny, he's always going to say the right thing. That's one thing that you're never going to have to worry about with Russell Wilson. He's media trained to the 10th power. He's always going to say the right thing. But sometimes what people don't say says a lot, or how they describe a question or how they answer the question says a lot. And what he said about, you know, how do you feel about you and Kenny and how he responded to that, it didn't make me feel like there was warm and fuzzies there. And what I mean by that is it didn't make me feel like that him and Russell Wilson had chopped it up and da-da-da-da-da. Because again, unless my ears weren't working, y'all correct me in the chat. When he talked about who he had talked to already, verbally, on the phone, whether in person or on the phone, he mentioned guys like Cam and Freiermuth and TJ and Minka. Said him and Minka was on FaceTime over an hour. He didn't say a phone call was had with him and Kenny. If I remember correctly, he said a text. A text. That's what he said. That's very telling. Because what I will not forget, and I'll never forget this. Remember when they asked Kenny Pickett, hey, did you learn anything watching, Mason Rudolph in that time while you were out, able to kind of learn anything with him being a veteran and just, seeing the offense get going? I mean, the reporter was going for a minute on that question. And Kenny Pickett's answer was like, nah. Matter of fact, he said, oh, no. No. Very dismissive. That told me a lot about Kenny Pickett, man. The person. Because remember, we had already heard that Kenny kind of had some stuff with him this past season, right? And when that happened, I was like, ooh, maybe what they're saying about him is true. See, we didn't have to speculate on that one, boys and girls. We saw that. We heard that ourselves. Hey, did you learn anything? No. And how would a mature professional quarterback answer that question? Even if it didn't learn anything, you can answer that in a way to where it doesn't hurt any feelings. You ain't even overly praising the dude who's playing. You could have simply said, yeah, man, it was great watching Mason out there, just seeing how, it is possible for us to have a command on this offense. And, I know we're trying some new things, since, Matt Canada had been relieved of his duties and it looks like it's coming together. The run game is coming together, man. It really made me, I was itching to get back out there just watching, how successful that offense was. I think Mason's doing a good job. That's it. That's it. That's it, brother. That's all you had to say. Oh, and let's not forget the report that came out in the Seattle game. Remember that? Yeah, he didn't want to dress. He didn't want to dress. That was the report, right? We didn't know. So remember, I came on this show and said, there's no way for us to prove that. Well, his actions now kind of prove it. And remember how Kenny answered that question versus how Tomlin and them answered that question? Tomlin didn't really go into detail, but he did kind of say, he was healthy. We just decided not to dress him. He didn't tell you why, but read between the tea leaves, man. And shout outs to guys like Jerry Dulac and Mark Caboli. Y'all know, y'all as Steelers fans know these guys have been covering them for years. A lot of times when they hear something, there's fire there somewhere. When they hear a little smoke, sometimes they're wrong, but a lot of times they're at least steering you in the right direction. Because again, Jerry Dulac was the one that said the Steelers had no interest in Fields or Russell, and now they got both of them. But, sometimes rumors don't always pan out. But back to Kenny, man. Listen, I'm going to stand on my square, man. I'm not going to deviate from what I still think. I still think there's some talent with Kenny Pickett. My question was, I didn't know if it would ever come to fruition. My biggest problems with Kenny Pickett was the way he bailed the pocket and him seemingly not reading the field. And I don't know if he ever was going to develop that. I have seen Kenny Pickett play decent enough for me to have said, maybe he could come around, but he just didn't give that to us. We just didn't get it. So it was very hard for me to believe. I was willing to give him the 1 year with the new coordinator. But apparently, Russell Wilson signing spooked him. He verbalized he wanted a trade. And again, they got the hostage out of there. But I just think Kenny Pickett, man, I think the lasting taste that's going to be left in Steeler Nation's mouths, man, is poor attitude, because those are the last things we heard about Kenny Pickett. And whether we knew they were true or not, him being traded, I think kind of stamps it. You know what I mean? Even though we'll never know the truth, I think seeing them moving away from him without, picture this, without Mason Rudolph signed. At the moment, only one quarterback signed other than Pickett. So all you have at the moment was Russell Wilson and Pickett, and you're willing to trade him in that circumstance? Think that puts a stamp on maybe Kenny's attitude. So I wholeheartedly believe that that's the reason why the kid got traded. And listen, man, shout outs to him, but I don't know what's going to happen to you in Philly. Jalen Hurts, anyone? I'm just saying, you ain't going to start over him. I mean, I know you can't control where you get traded, but I'm just saying, brother. Good luck holding the clipboard. It's a shame. But that's where I'm at with it, man. Like I said, I was still willing to give Kenny another year. But listen, I told you guys last week, I am married to the team. I only date the players. Players come and go. I don't have no allegiance to players. I have favorites in my tenure, of course. As a Steeler fan, I have favorites. Like the Hines Wards of the world. Favorites. Troy P. James Ferrier. He was a favorite of mine for many reasons that maybe some of y'all wouldn't call that name. I got guys from the team that I just liked them as people. Cam Hayward is going to go down as one of my all-time favorites. TJ Watt, because the talent and because of who he seems to be in the dog in him. Even Ben, I'll give Ben that. Ben allowed me to see some Super Bowls, man. But again, I had an issue with Ben's passive aggressiveness sometimes. But I loved Ben Roethlisberger, the ball player. I have favorites. But I'm married to the team, bruh. I date the players. That's it. So now let's talk about Justin Fields a bit. Woo! I got questions, folks. I got questions. Russell Wilson has come out and said, yeah, I'd like to spend more time in Pittsburgh. He would like to spend a future with the bird, with the Steelers. So if Russell Wilson is signed to a one-year deal and he's already talking about potentially getting a deal done later on, Justin Fields essentially is on a one-year deal, and you have to make a decision on his fifth-year option by May. I don't think the Steelers are going to pay that because it's $20+ million. So the question is, what happens in the future? Are they going to give him the fifth-year option? I doubt it. But would they be willing to do that to keep him from 2 years? And if you give him the fifth-year option, in my opinion, you're basically saying, Russell, we got you on the one-year deal. Thank you. But we're going to move on and see what this kid can do for us next season if he doesn't get to play in 2024. So do you really think the Steelers are going to pay 20-something million for a one-year trial? I don't think that's going to happen. But what does this mean for the future of quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because I see a lot of people out there saying Justin Fields might be the future. Yeah, but they're going to have to find a way to sign him. I think the smartest thing to do, and again, right now there's some leverage to be made, right? Omar Khan and them, I'm sure they can come in with that sweet deal and be like, look, you know your value is not at $20+ million right now. You know that, right? But let's go ahead and get a little extension done, a couple years, because we got faith in you, But we need to see, if we're being honest, we need to see if your value is where the rest of these quarterbacks' value is at. That's fair. Best case scenario is the Steelers do that because I don't think they're picking up that option. But then that leaves, how do we feel as fans? Who you want to see? I've been struggling with this because most of y'all know. Listen, and I understand Russell Wilson is 35 and he might not be what he once was. But most of you guys have been watching me for years on end. Y'all know how big of a fan I am of Russell Wilson. Because I just liked the consistency of Russell Wilson. And I'm just talking about the duration of his career. I always talked about the deep ball of Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson smarts for the most part. Yeah, every quarterback would throw a pick here and there. But Russell Wilson largely took care of the football. Always liked his game. And not to mention, again, do I have to say it again? He's from my hometown. And he even said it in his press conference. Shout outs to Richmond, VA. That was where I was born and raised. Obviously, I live in PA now. Most of y'all know that, but I just always liked Russell Wilson. However, some of y'all don't like what I'm about to say about Justin Fields. Can I be honest for a moment? Can I get up and close and personal with you guys and kind of be honest? Justin Fields has tremendous upside. I'm going to say it again. Justin Fields has tremendous upside. Because here's the thing I do when it comes to players. I don't just look at what they do bad. I take everything into account. Chicago Bear fans would tell me, man, Matt Nagy is the reason why, Nagy, or however you said his name, that's why Justin Fields didn't succeed early on. Some fans again would tell me, it's just, he doesn't have enough talent at his disposal. Oh, the Bears line sucks. I got all of these different things. But then you have some Bears fan that just thinks he sucks. No. If you look at his skill, again, I'm not sitting here saying that Justin Fields is going to be a top elite quarterback. I'm just talking about when you look at the good as far as what he's capable of, do you think he's coachable? Yeah. Does he bring a dimension to the Steelers that we have not seen? Yeah. Kind of reminds me of what some of you guys, including me, kind of reminds me of what we were saying about Malik Willis coming out. Man, could you imagine the Steelers having a guy that's a real dual threat and has upside? That's how I view Justin Fields. Have I watched each and every Bears game? No. But I have seen Bears games where this boy lights it up and he's looking like the most talented guy on the field for that game. There's a couple moments and plays and passes that comes to mind when I think about Justin Fields. And see, I'm honest with mine. And I think that's what some of you guys appreciate about what I do here. I'm honest. I have not watched every Bears game. I couldn't tell you how great or how bad he is. I just know that he has immense talent. And for what it's costing the Steelers right now, oh, no. I'm not mad at all. If for whatever reason Justin Fields has to play this year at some point, Russell Wilson gets injured. Russell Wilson's not playing well. It ain't gonna hurt my feelings to see Justin Fields go trotting out there and see what he got. Because imagine if he actually has something. Imagine if he works out. He's 25. He's 25. And the Steelers got him for the cheap right now. So that's why I said if I'm Omar Khan, and if y'all believe that he could be something, try to get a deal done now where his value is low. That's what I would do. See, that's the thing, man. The master plan. Like if you in the driver's seat, and the Steelers are, because you can position it to Justin Fields. Hey, man, you a backup. You ain't on a prove it deal. 1 year deal does you nothing, especially if we don't pick up that option. But what we're willing to do is give you X, Y, and Z. You want to take that? Ain't nobody else offering it. By the way, we just got you for a conditional 6th round to a 4th round pick. I'm just saying. We in the driver's seat, baby. We got the big joker. We got the big joker, the deuce of spade, and the little joker, and the ace of spade. How you beating us? Just using a spades game analogy. We got all 4 of the ones that matter. For you spades players, imagine you having a hand when you got both the big and little joker. And some people don't play, with the kitty and all that and jokers. But for some of y'all that know what I'm talking about, imagine you got both jokers, the ace of spade and the deuce of spade. That's Omar Khan right now like this. Bust a move. Donation. Oh, hold up. We got another donation. Thank you again, Luis. Round of applause. Appreciate it. He says more, and Emet, I think you meant Komet, we're not happy about Fields being traded. They seem on board with Justin, so we'll see how he does with his new team. Yeah, and I would imagine Keenan Allen probably looking at it with an eyebrow raised too, because let me tell y'all something. As much as I like Caleb Williams, as much as I like Jaden Daniels, these guys are going to be rookies. There's no guarantee ever that the rookie going to come in and light it up. And some might say, well, they better than Justin Fields already. Oh, in college? But can I ask y'all another question? Do y'all remember how nice Justin Fields was in college? College. That don't always translate to the pros in terms of first year. Not talking about talent. It don't always translate in rookie season. And sometimes the talent don't always translate to the NFL. We've seen that plenty of time. I mean, that kid that we just sent down to Philly had a pretty good season too, didn't he? His last season in college. I'm just saying, if I'm Keenan Allen, I'm like, oh, man. Because, I might would have rather stayed with Justin Herbert. But yeah, man, that's my quick, not so quick assessment. And I want to get to the phone calls while we got some time. But man, listen, there's a lot to be excited about if you are a Pittsburgh Steeler, in my opinion. I can't remember the last time we've had a quarterback room quite like this, where it's been a been there, done that type of guy, Super Bowl winner. Should have had two. I blame Pete Carroll and whoever else for that call, but Russell, you got an audible out of that one and hand the ball off the beast mode. So I give him a little bit of that blame too. Could have had two. Had a heck of a season last year for the most part. He didn't blow the doors off, but we ain't have no season where a quarterback last year had 26 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions. We ain't had that. Then you got a guy like Justin Fields who has all of this upside. I've never seen a quarterback room like that in Pittsburgh, even with Ben. Because when Ben was there, at times we had serviceable guys. Shout outs to Charlie Batch. He'll help you get the job done. Byron Leftwich, he might be able to come in and get the job done here and there. But none of us was writing home about them. None of us was saying, hey, if Ben go down, we weren't saying that. We felt comfortable with Charlie, but we weren't saying that Charlie gonna go out there and win a game. You'll be saying that about Justin Fields only because of his dual threat. We surely won't saying it about Landry Jones. And we surely won't saying that after we had got a chance to see Mason Rudolph. And I'm talking then. I ain't talking about Mason Rudolph last 4 games last season. We weren't saying that about Josh Dobbs. I'm just saying. I ain't never seen this particular quarterback situation. So it's worth being excited about, man, because it can go. We have more than one opportunity for this to be successful. You have a Russell Wilson that you're hoping he's going to be the constant, normal Russell Wilson with a little bit of Seattle is on it. Or you have a young stud that turns his career around in Pittsburgh. So you have 2 opportunities to be successful. And not to mention you added Patrick Queen to that defense. Have mercy. The biggest missing link last season, going into the season, we didn't know how that 3-man monster was going to happen at inside linebacker, and we didn't have the stud. And now you go and get a stud, which in my opinion, Patrick Queen probably was a top 5 inside backer last season. I'm just saying, bro. It's a lot of reason to be excited. Now, I know some of y'all ain't happy with any of these moves, and that's fair. But that's just what I got on it, man. That's what I got on it. A week to remember. Let's get to some of these calls, man. I can't be too late tonight. See how many we got. We got 4 right now. So y'all know the routine, man. Make it snappy if you can. If not, don't make me go savage and cut you off. But let's get to it. Area code 651. What you got for us?
Sam. What's up, Sam?
Yes, sir. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. I just wanted to jump on this Russ topic real quick. And I see everybody say he fell off. He's not Seattle. But when you look at his stats, he ain't fall off far from where he was. I mean, he averages normally around between 3,500 and 4,000 yards a season. In 2020, he had 4,200 yards with 40 touchdowns, right? This is 2020. In one season before he went to Denver. Goes to Denver, Hatchie has a 3,500 yard season, 16 touchdowns, which is his lowest ever, and then comes back with a 26 touchdown season. That man's not far away from where he was. I think it was more of a change. So you give us any of these stats this past year, I think we got a different season. I mean, believe it or not, I think we got a different season with that. And as far as Queen coming, ain't nothing to be said about that. I just hope that Atlanta Robert wears the green dot and just let Queen do what he do. These first years, just let him have fun. And also, Phil, man, I'm looking forward to him, man. He's a future, and I feel like they've already got this situation handled about the extension. It's probably not going to show up right away, but I think they've had this talk because when you brought him in, you're not paying him $25 million next year. So I think this is something they've already talked about in this situation. It just hadn't shown yet. So, man, we made a lot of hell of moves this year, man. I'm excited. If we don't make another move in free agency, I'm happy. I can go to sleep a happy man. But thanks a lot.
Man, thanks for the call. I mean, you said so much there. I don't really have to add much to it other than that's a good point. As far as Justin Fields, they might already have something, the wink, something might already be in the works that we just don't know about. So let's keep an eye on that. And you're right, man, even if they don't make any other moves, and they probably will make little minor ones, I can't be dissatisfied. They did a lot in this offseason, stuff that I just never seen before. And for those of you that were saying, oh, they should have got Mike Williams, y'all saw what he got paid, right? They won't pay no $13 million for 1 year. Obviously, that was his going rate or whatever. I don't know what his rate was per se, but if he got the 1 year for 13, Steelers won't pay him that. Because I'm sure you listened to multiple offers. And the Jets came right out the gate because I think he met with them yesterday. So there you have it. Next in the queue, man, area code 318. What you got for us?
Well, what's good, huh?
What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Man, firstly off, Russell Wilson, like the last caller said, no, he didn't play bad, but it's ironic. I had a conversation like this on Facebook, he didn't play bad, but I think he didn't play up to that contract. That's what I think it is. I think it was. And I think I'll be more satisfied once we get some O-line pieces. I feel much better. As, we making some big splashes. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited, but them trenches, man. I'm a trenches guy, man. You can't. You got to win the battles there. You can have all the sexy picks on the outside, but if them hog maws ain't what it, ain't like you said. Bring the beef out. I want to bring the beef out. That's what I want. But other than that, yeah, this is new to us, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, like we were saying, the last big free agent signing was Joe Hayden, I think, bro. But yeah, y'all have a good night, Unc.
Man, thanks for the call, and it wouldn't be me if I didn't say, "Ooh, pause." Yikes. Y'all know I got to make a little fun. But yeah, man, listen, he's right. The trenches, definitely. O-line's got to play like the O-line started playing later in the season. I need to see more out of Dan Moore. I want to see Broderick Jones take that second-year step since he got playing time. And whoever else might be on that line. Because, again, it's hard to really dissect what the Steelers are going to be or what we're predicting or hoping for until we see the finality of free agency and draft. So you're right, though. Trenches, both sides of the ball. O-line, D-line. Yeah, if you ain't winning in them trenches, then yeah, I'm with you all the way, dog. And let me just say this about Russell Wilson because it brings another point. I think sometimes teams just overpay, if I'm being honest. I know it looks bad that he got released and they take all that dead cap, yada, 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 but I do think NFL teams overpay. No disrespect, but look at what the Browns just gave Judy guaranteed. I'm just, why are you doing that? And there's a ton of receivers coming in. I just think sometimes teams overpaying. Like my man said there, that contract, it didn't look like he paid up to that contract, but he didn't have a bad season at all. So, yeah, that's facts. Area code 302, what you got for us?
Hey, Sim, I just want to fire off 3 quick questions for you. Don't want to take up too much of your time. First of all, do you think with the addition of Patrick Queen, do you think Cole Holcomb and Quan Alexander come back this year? Second, assuming the price for Justin Fields remain the same, do you think we made the move because Kenny requested the trade, or do you think this move was always going to be made? And then finally, with the addition of Deontay Jackson at corner and Van Jefferson at receiver, do you think those two are decent 2s, or do you think they're, great number 3s? That's all I have for you, Unc. Stay easy.
Man, thanks for the call. And guys, my bad, man. Why y'all didn't remind me I didn't have the call-in number up there. I saw somebody in the comments saying, what's the number? There it is. My bad, man. 619-924-0818. Cole Holcomb and Landon Roberts are slated to come back in terms of contractually. Quan Alexander was a 1-year deal, so I don't think we'll see him again. I think we come into this season with obviously Patrick Queen, Cole Holcomb if he can make it back off of injury, and Landon Roberts, and then there's Mark Robinson there still just, the lonely man out. Got a little playing time last year out of necessity, but that's probably who are going to be your 4 backers. Who knows what they do in the draft? Who knows what they do at UDFA? I mean, that's where guys like Mark Robinson came from. No, we drafted Mark Robinson, I think, in the late 7th round or something that year. But, yeah, who knows who else will be in that spot. But to answer your question, Holcomb and Landon Roberts are due to be back contractually. So we'll see what happens there. As far as the Kenny Pickett thing, man, I feel like Omar Khan and everyone else kicked the tires on that. Probably before they knew they were going to try to get Russell. See, that's the thing. We don't know the sequence of events. So I'm pretty sure they had already started to have convo around Fields and Wilson. And then the icing on the cake was Kenny being traded. So maybe that nudged it a little bit, but I don't know, man. I mean, it's hard to say because if they still could have got him think about that. The Bears traded him knowing that they had a vacancy at backup. and still got what they got. So was he still that cheap? You see what I'm saying? So maybe the Steelers would have still gotten him, and it would have been Wilson, Pickett, and Fields. But there's no way for us to ever know that. But that's a great question. Let's get to the next call, man. Area code 412. What you got for us?
Hey, Sam, am I coming through clearly?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
All right. Hey, it's Smitty from Pittsburgh. Haven't called in a while. I'm just going to go through my spots real quick. So far, Omar Khan, the con artist, should be probably executive of the year. With the resume he's putting out, especially from last year and what he's doing, I like what they're doing so far. I think that they should probably keep looking for center. They're probably going to get a cheap center. And depending if they're looking for a big name wide receiver, hopefully they don't trade their first pick, because I would like to get that center from Oregon or the one from West Virginia. I like the Queen signing, and I think him and Landon Robbins should be starting, because that gives you a more inferior foot combination, somebody to keep Queen clean. Then also, I want to go on the players that we traded. With DJ, I kind of seen it coming because they weren't going to pay him that $18 million. I don't think they really wanted to. They just put that in the contract so they could sign for those 2 more years because they need a receiver. And honestly, when he didn't chase after the ball when that was fumbling, I really wasn't mad, because that's just DJ being DJ. Coming out of college, they said he had focus issues. Like, it was hard for him to focus. He would lose focus easily. Then on the other thing with Kenny Pickett, here's my thing with Kenny is, where does he get the gall, or where he thinks he has that much prestige to just want to be traded? Because he put himself in the worst situation where he's 2 months older from a franchise quarterback that's getting paid $100 million, where he could have sat behind a 36-year-old quarterback basically when the season starts, and actually might get a chance to start again, because no one knows beyond this year. So he screwed himself up, and I don't know if you listen to Arthur Most, but Arthur Most said this, like, his reputation in the league is going to look like that he ran away from smoke. He ran away from competition. So I think when people going to look out in the locker room, they're gonna be like, is this guy that left? Like, if you go to the media, nobody takes Kenny all that serious, sadly, because they said, look at his small hands. Like, it's just not the best look for him. So he kind of had a hill turn, and I think if you watch his press conference with Philadelphia, he looked like he might have made a mistake, and he wasn't as enthusiastic because he's back in his hometown. But you realize he ain't gonna get no playing time. His career is in jeopardy, so he's got to find a way to improve. But that's all I wanted to say. But I think Kenny doesn't look that good right now, and made a smart decision. But peace out. I haven't called in a while. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call. Definitely appreciate it. I appreciate you sharing all of your information, thoughts, and things there on all of what transpired, man. I always love hearing everyone else's take. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I will speak on that last point. You know, maybe Kenny will look back at a later date and say, wow, man, I made a huge mistake as far as how I conducted myself. You know, and if what we're hearing is true and he asked for the trade, then there you go. You know, you did that. So, yeah, man, Smitty, definitely thank you for sharing your thoughts, man. Good to hear from you. I do see I have a donation, guys, and hate to do this to you guys tonight, man, but I told y'all I was on a time crunch tonight, so that's going to be the last call of the night as far as Smitty's call, but let me answer this donation. Thank you, the infamous Tim. Round of applause. He says, are Jefferson and Jackson 2s or 3s? So Jackson, I believe you're talking about the corner, right? I think Deontay Jackson will be a 2. So I'm thinking he's starting outside of Joy Porter Jr. I mean, Jackson has been a starter in Carolina. So I think definitely I would say the 2. I think they have groomed or will be continuing to groom Joy Porter Jr. as the number 1 corner. As far as Jefferson, man, and if you're talking about Van Jefferson, you know, I hate trying to rank guys that I haven't done a deep dive on. I know Van Jefferson, you know, was a name to pay attention to coming out of college. I'll only speak to how he's been utilized. The way he's been utilized, I think he's at best a third option, probably more like a fourth. Again, if you just take a look at how he's been utilized at each one of his stops, he's definitely not a number 2 receiver. I mean, again, could he end up being that in the Steelers offense? I don't know. I wouldn't think so, again, based on how he's been utilized. I think you can use him as I'm trying to give a good comparison. I don't even think he's a 3 like Martavis Bryant was at one point, like the third option before he became a second. I think Van Jefferson, I'm trying to give us a good analogy, guys, that we've seen in the Steelers history. Recent history that was more like a third option type of guy. Donation. Excuse me. Nothing's coming to mind right now, man, and I don't want to be disrespectful and name some of these receivers that I'm thinking of, but I just think he's one of those dudes, man, that, you know, I guess sort of like Allen Robinson was, but maybe a little more active than that. So I think maybe he would get more targets, perhaps be a little more engaged and included in the game plan than perhaps a guy like Allen Robinson. I see someone says Eli Rogers. Yeah, you know, like the forgotten man. A couple of you guys said Eli Rogers. You know, like kind of the forgotten guy. You know, we'll see though, because again, it's hard for me to really determine that. You know, not really knowing how Arthur Smith plans to run his offense. So we'll see. But that would be my early assessment. Yeah, I think he'll be a 3 at best. At best. But we have one more donation, man. Then I got to wrap it up and get up out of here, man. I apologize for turning in early for you guys tonight. But again, man, it's tough on me at 10 o'clock since I have to commute all the way to D.C. tomorrow morning. I got to get myself some sleep. I still got to get my clothes together, ironed up and all of that. But one last one, man. Round of applause to my man, Why Diggy. Appreciate it. Mark Cunningham said, why I bring up Martavis. Man, that kid could have been special. Why Diggy says, in regards to Kenny, for someone who was touted as the most NFL ready and perceived to be mature, he acted very immature, if you believe the reports. That is a fact. And that is unfortunate, man. And I guess I will end it with this, guys. I will end it on my overall thoughts on just Kenny Pickett in general. Listen, man, the Steelers took a swing and they missed. It's just that simple. It's the Steelers' fault that we're seeing what we're seeing from Kenny Pickett, right? Let me explain what I'm saying really quick. The Steelers didn't do a good enough job preparing for the departure of Ben Roethlisberger. So they backed themselves into a corner where they had to take a swing in a draft class year that didn't have the greatest potential. Didn't have the greatest projections as you look at everyone who was in that class. Didn't bode well. They took a swing and they missed, but they put themselves up against that wall. And it happens. You know, I know a lot of people always want to rag on the team and, oh, that was stupid and yada, yada, yada. Guys, if we're being honest, drafting there's no science to that. There's no, like, equation that you can say, if we do this, we do that and do that, yeah, we'll win the Super Bowl in the next 10 years. It's not an exact science, man. Some of it is luck. Obviously, a good scouting involved, but sometimes teams take a chance. Again, in my heart of hearts, I believe that the Steelers themselves didn't think that Kenny Pickett was the strongest quarterback they had ever seen as far as prospect-wise. But they were at a point where they had to take a swing. It was the cheapest option, right? Instead of trying to sign a veteran that might have been a free agent at the time. The cheaper option was to draft a quarterback, yes, in the first round, go with the guy who is perceived, like Y. Diggy said, as the most NFL ready. You get lucky. This guy plays well. You have the 5th-year option in your back pocket. And that's what they did. And they missed. Like I told you guys, I have no problem saying, hey, it didn't work. So for everybody who runs around, see, I told you, dog, you ain't got to tell me. I just give you my opinion on what I see from a player, what I think the player might be, and it either works or it doesn't. I don't have any stake in the game. You know what I mean? You know, some of you guys will hang on to the fact, see, I told you. Man, that's fine. And you guys, hey, you felt that way and it turned out to be that way. But it is what it is. That's in the rear view. Now I'm looking at what is Russell Wilson going to be, is what is Justin Fields going to be. That's all I'm worried about now. It's like a turnstile. Players come and go. So that era is over. This new still away era is starting to begin. And yeah, I am very interested to see what they do in the draft, because as of right now, they have not, keeping this in mind, they have not acquired a free agent center. I think they are looking at homeboy in Oregon. And just like the good guys over at Steelers Depot said, I wonder if, like they call it, the Blues Clues could be broken this year, because there was no Mike Tomlin or Omar Khan at Oregon's Pro Day. And you guys know, if you've been following the Steelers and you've been listening to the great coverage that we get for the good old guys at Steelers Depot, and just with our own eyes, the first round pick traditionally comes from a pro day that had Mike Tomlin and Kevin Colbert, or one of the other. It's only happened a very, very few times where either one of those guys were not at the pro day and they took a first rounder. The first round pick usually comes from a guy that the coach and GM, or coach or GM, attended their pro day. That didn't happen for the kid in Oregon. But center is definitely on the radar. Wide receiver is on the radar. I'm looking right now. Those are the two positions that I'm thinking could possibly happen in the first round. Even though wide receiver is deep, it wouldn't surprise me if they did that, because there's a hole there. There's a hole there. You need another guy that you can really pair with George Pickens, like a stud. So that's what I'm looking at right now, and it's exciting, man. And I can't wait. So, all right, man, let me get out of here. I'm over my time, man. Again, I apologize for those in the phone queue I couldn't get to tonight. It's going to be nights like this, and honestly, I hope so. That means I'm so busy that I can't answer them all. If you want to make sure your phone call is answered and you want to move up the queue, you can always drop a small donation with your area code, and I will definitely take your call as priority. Not required, I'm just saying. That's something that I'm definitely going to be mentioning more often as we continue through this season, because like I said, I put things in the air. This channel is going to continue to grow, which means there's going to be more and more people in the queue waiting to be able to speak live on the air. But all right, man, listen, love you guys, man. Y'all know that. All I need y'all to do is 3 things for me before you leave, man. Listen, y'all did an excellent job on my Justin Fields video, over 300 likes, man, y'all came out and showed out. I just need y'all to do that as well again tonight, man. If you like the video, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, you might as well subscribe to that channel. And then after you do all of that, cut on your notification bell so you know we're live or videos have been uploaded. Last but not least, make sure you guys stay healthy, stay safe. God bless. Good night. And like always, I definitely thank you all for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.